Hello everybody, my name is Andrés Ospina. I study my PhD program in anthropology here at the Universidad de los Andes, and today I want talking about animism, a basic concept in social science, to talking about religious, spiritual events or phenomena. So, this next. What's about animism? Animism, according to the Britannic Encyclopedia, is a belief that successing innumerable spiritual beings, like spiritual agents, and concerned with human affairs and capable of helping or harming human interests. So, basically, animism is a concept that tries to explain what could be the possible relationship between the society of alive people like us and maybe other kind of society, that is the people that were dead. So in that case, dead people. Dead people, we imagine that in several ways, but the most common is about spirits, souls, or specific agents that have a special quality, maybe like a power, because they stay in other stratus different of our life. For that reason, it's so interesting for social science identify what could be the common belief and the practice around the animism, because we think in social science that depends on the kind of relationship that the people or many communities establish with that kind of spiritual agents, is possible think and know what could be the perception or the idea or ideology, why not, about communities. So, it's not only anthropology, like in my subject, is the unique science that studies that kind of events, to philosophy, theology, or some science and religious studies. Please, next. Finally, the idea is explains what's about death. Maybe we think that it's a very far concept, is maybe a mysterious way, but really it's a so common topic that is common identified that in TV series like that, in events around medicine and healthy science, is really a common and closer phenomenon in our society. Next, please. We use both concepts to support the general explanation about animism. The first one is the idea about ritual. In social science, in a very brief explanation, we could say that ritual is practice or ceremonies in a sacred way to develop some performance in community, in society. Belief, in maybe to a brief explanation, could be that kind of a situation of knowledge, general knowledge, that the people believe without a proof, without an evidence that that kind of things, ideas, ideology, in fact exists. But it's a common idea, it's a common concept that we maintain maybe in faith, in a faith way, maybe in the belief, and about that kind of beliefs we can continue in our normal life. So, that practice permit identify different situations in the social life, like feelings, ideas, ethics, and moral reason. And it's so interesting because in the next one, please, we can identify some examples. What's about ethical aspects, moral aspects, maybe behavior? Animism, that kind of agents, permit in our societies identify like a links or connection. In that links, dead people, maybe that spirits or their soul, maintain like a kind of influence in our common life. This picture is about Francisco Franco, the general in Spain, and the people say that because it's so powerful, the influence nowadays of that period, that power, looks like the dead guy start to know the things that happen in the power in Spain nowadays, like a relation. But it's not necessarily in a political or in power context. We have other explanation. The next one, please. For instance, when we're talking about popular religions as a Catholicism here in Latin America, where we had some common practice. Next, please. For instance, that this is Leo Cobb in the Cementerio Central in Bogotá. The believers had a practice that is solicit for that spirit or soul. Leon Cobb, like a very successful guy or boss here in Bogotá in the first part of the 20th century, and because that guy was very, very good when he was alive, the people solicit some kinds of favors and offer in interchange, flowers or some presents to establish a kind of relationship between the dead, in that case Leo Cobb, and that guy that is a believer, is a loyal, that want one kind of favor. So, to conclude, the next please, we can find other examples like some people that try to adopt and a not named person to find a favor in other stratus, because maybe the NN or the dead people had more power because it's more closer to the heaven, and in that situation it's possible to establish that kind of relationship to benefit both parties, alive people again and dead people. So that concept is a very successful case because permit explain that kind of relation and expand the circle of relations that we have in our common life. It's not only with alive people, it's only with our ancestor or with the idea or souls or spirit that they offer, like agents, the option to communicate and to establish new kind of social relationship. Thank you so much. I don't know if you have some question or things or new ideas.
I think the violence in Colombia is a very powerful scenario for this animism contract or contractualism, I don't know. But the people want to adopt a victim, an unknown victim. The people think they want to win what kind of things.
Exactly, because the idea is try to resolve all problems in our own life, and maybe that kind of agents or characters bring for us the chance to resolve that. And in a context, in a violent context, like as you say, is very common, because the idea is when the people suffer a terrible, maybe a violent death, for the pain that the dead suffered, for the damage that he suffered before, is possible be more closer than divine agents like gods, like saints. For that reason, is more powerful than a kind of influence. So it's like a very strange, stronger idea about the pain that someone suffered before is the chance to resolve your problem nowadays. Yes, it's an agonistic interchange, and really so interesting to explain a different kind of beliefs into the violent conflict in Colombia.
Okay, thank you.
What is the impact of the research in Colombia?
Oh, come on, it's so difficult. In general, this is only one of my topics in my current research. It's no time to explain in general my research, but the main idea is try to know a little about alternatives to develop peace building, like in Spanish, consolidación de la paz. And that kind of spiritual experience permit like open a way to explain, no maybe in a political context, no maybe in an economical context, but in the belief context, more close to the quotidian life of the people, what would be the impact of the violence, but to the impact of a possible resolution of the conflict. This is my main idea, but of course it's the process.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
you can localize a place of Colombia when was more easy find animes phenomenon.
Yeah, because the time was short, I want to show a little experience in my presentation, in my speech about the Magdalena Valley and the confluence of the two biggest rivers in Colombia, Magdalena River and Cauca River, that they receive all the currents, all the small rivers that in the mountains in Colombia, and the mountains, and they looks like a long way to catch in the different places of the country. So the vertients, the currents of the Magdalena River or Cauca River, they bring the chance to show in a more clear or general way what's about that phenomenon. In my case, I studied a little village in the Macizo Colombiano, in the borders between Huila and Cauca, and in a Pasan community and in indigenous community too, and in the rivers closer to that areas, I can find that kind of event, and it's part of my research too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.